Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Moon Scarab channel. My name is Ramon, and welcome to another episode of In Orbit With, a show in which we chat with people from the divination community about life, divination, and more. If you're watching a replay, thank you very much for tuning in. And today we have a special guest, and this is a guest that should have been here a long time ago, but it's never late. And I'm honored to introduce you to someone who you already know. This is Miss Hershe, the Shadow Reader. Hello, Hershe.
Hi, hi, hi. Hello. Hi, how are
How are
you?
you today? Right? You should have been
I'm
here a long time ago.
well. Life gets in the way. No matter how hard
It
we try to
does.
avoid it, life just gets in the way, and time, gets by. So, I'm
Yes.
here, and I hear I'm never late. I'm always right on time. So let's do it.
Yes, and you're looking gorgeous today. You always look great, but
Thank
today you're fabulous. And thank you, everybody. A few people who came to visit us to see you, actually. And we have Miss Tarot D. Let's see. Hello, Miss Tarot D. Great to see you. We have Joe G. Thank you very much for being here, Joe. We have the awesome Ange. Thank you, Ange, for always stopping by and for your support. We have Jeff, Tarot Ass Backwards. Hello, Jeff. We have Mosaic Insight. Great name. Thank you for stopping by. We have Jen. She says, Hi, Ramon. Hi, Hershey. Thank you for stopping by, Jen. We have Audra Dye. Hello, Audra. Seeing you. And let's see who else we have. Let's see. I think we're caught up for now. So, Miss Hershey, the tarot, the shadow reader. I like doing that. Shadow reader. Um, eh, I've had the honor of sharing shows with you before. Um, I was twice at your channel for meta messages. We did a show on birthday shenanigans because, like you,
you.
I am a Gemini. We're
Mhm.
both a Gemini.
Yes,
Yes, and we had
yes.
that opportunity, and a pop up. I think recently we did one. We stopped by your channel to say hi, and it was a lot of fun. But
Oh yeah, you
today,
guys totally
hmm
bombed my channel, and I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I
yes,
had so much fun.
how
So much.
how long were you live that night?
Oh my gosh. It was scheduled for 2 hours, and it ended up being like 4 hours and literally almost 5 hours. It was like 4 hours and some
Mm-hmm.
change. But I was like,
Mm-hmm.
holy cow, I've watched the playback. I'm not a big watch the playback kind of person because I'm a pretty hard
Uh-huh.
critic on myself. And
Oh,
I
I
still
understand.
can't wrap my head around how that blessing just came right in. I was like, what just happened? And I
Uh-huh.
love it. I love it. So
I think it's everybody starting invited everybody else, and I got it from Miss Tarot D,
I,
and then we
you
reached
know
out
what?
to
All I know
Heather,
is
and
I was
it was a
grateful.
lot of
I was
fun.
grateful. It was a
It,
lot of fun.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. And your channel is a lot of fun. It's very insightful. I love the content. I love the shows that you have, especially meta messages. That's on Mondays, right?
Yes. Yes. At 11
Yes.
Central AM. Yes. Or
Okay.
11 a.m.
We
Central. I got it out here in a minute.
uh-huh. We have Bobby. And so we came here together to talk about you. We want to know more about who Hershey is, her channel, her spiritual journey, anything that you want to share with us. If there's anyone here watching and you're not subscribed to Hershey's awesome channel, the the description in the description below, you can link to subscribe to her channel because it's awesome. So, Miss Hershey, let's start with what is it that you want to share with us about you? Who are you? Who's Miss Hershey?
OMG. Um,
That's a very
you
loaded
know,
question,
I'm,
right?
I'm just, I just, oh, see, that's that bullshit. Booty. Stop the shit. Y'all, I'm in my room in my recliner, and I guess I'm reclining. Okay,
Uh huh.
You know what? I don't like titles and frames, and don't try to put me in a box because I don't fit in boxes. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't tell you where my box is. I like all kinds of stuff. I'm multi-genre. I like what I like. I like bright. I like bold. I like sassy. I like black. I like white. I love life. Hope
Mm-hmm.
is literally what I have so much of that I'm constantly just throwing it at people. Um, I don't know how to describe me. I don't know how to describe me. I'm complicated. I'm complex. I'm chaos with a controlled C, and I like to live. I really like to
Uh-huh.
experience life. I always have.
Multifaceted. That's what Mo says, and that's perfect. And I completely understand. We are Geminis, and we're just a few days apart in terms of our birthday.
Yes, yeah,
Not on the
yeah.
year.
You're
You're
what,
much
24,
younger
correct?
than me. Yes, May 24, and you're 27, right?
Tw-
May 27.
You know
You
what?
27?
My May 27th. Yes, I thought you were saying I am 27. I was like, my TT's
No,
on this check. I'm good.
no, May 27.
Don't have me kidding. I'm nowhere near
Yeah.
that.
Uh-huh. May 27. I always have a
Yes,
good relationship with Geminis. I with Geminis who are from June, our connection is somewhat better, is softer, I guess because they're closer to Cancer. But Geminis who are from May, especially like around my birthday, I always have like this weird energy with. Like we attract but we repel at the same time. It's weird. And the first time I shared a show with you, I kind of like felt that way. But same thing happens with my cousin. My cousin, I have a cousin. We're like, she's like my sister, my older sister, and we have like kind of chemistry. But I love her. Like we get along so much, amazingly. And I
uh,
felt that same way with you. It's like,
well, I'm glad
how
you
do I
felt that.
fit into this energy? But knowing you was something really special.
Well, thank you. I tend to think the like complete opposite. That's kind of odd. There's like 3 days between the actual date of our birthday, and yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I am the Gemini with horns. Not only do I have a Taurus moon, I rock them Taurus bull horns, and I'm not scared to speak my mind. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
the over emotional June Gemini that, like you said, connected
Mm-hmm.
to the Cancer. It has all
Yeah.
that water coming in. I have a lot of earth coming in, so I'm more like a volcano, earthquake, tornado, uh, tsunami. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, something like that. Rogue wave out of nowhere. I definitely enjoy my air and earth energy to the fullest. And then I'm a fire dragon in Chinese, so I get to play
Mm-hmm.
around with that element too. So I love absolutely being the magician that I am.
Yeah, amazing. So we have a question here already. Hershey, are you wearing Anna Marie Island dress?
I am. Yes, ma'am. I
It
am.
looks really nice on you. So
Yes,
let's
ma'am.
go to the point. So your channel is called uh, Shadow Reader. Um, just the handle. Tell us about your channel. And then we're gonna go in retrospect and talk about you. We want to know about your spiritual journey and then how it led to the channel. But let's start with the channel. Anyone who doesn't know your channel, what can they find? What is it that you share with in the channel?
Healing, laughter, fun, um, a sense of community where you're not looked at like you even have skin. Like we don't have to carry this flesh meat suit into my channel at all. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your background is. I don't care how nasty it is. I don't care how silver spooned it is. We're here to laugh. We're here to heal. We're gonna go on scavenger hunts. We're gonna go on nature walks. We're gonna get quote unquote naked together. I'm gonna tell you the ugliest parts of me, and I don't expect you to tell me yours. I just expect you to want to get to know somebody that learned the hard way about life and completely turned it all around. Granted, I didn't have much hand so in how the turning around happened, but it's what I want to reflect now. It's the person I want to be. It's the just the good spirit that I want to be, and I try to reflect that in my channel.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And you work a lot with the shadow. Can you explain to someone who doesn't
Yes,
know what shadow work is and how do you apply it in spirituality? Because it started as a psychological concept, but
yes,
anything that's emotional, psychological, overlaps in the spiritual as well. So what is shadow work
absolutely.
in your own words?
In my own words, it's trauma. It's pain. It's hurt. It's family abuse, family torture, street growing up on the streets, having to grow up in a system, a program, um, abused, and still holding that traumatic childhood experience with you, still letting it trigger you, still letting it affect the grown person that you are right now, even though you're not that wounded, traumatized child that's within you, you're still allowing that child to kind of be the reign holder in your life and allow the triggers to keep you in a place where you can't quite heal from it. So
Mm,
I like doing unorthodox ways with people to help them literally just start breaking the cycle and doing massive primal releases to just let it go. I mean, you literally can't go back, but you can always
mm-hmm.
let go and go forward. So you just have to find that breaking point that shatters the broken and allows you to sit down, rip yourself apart, and then put yourself back together stitch by stitch, the way you want to be seen, felt, heard, touched, looked at, respect, however you want yourself to be received. And that's the best part of it. The healing is finding yourself all over again. The
Mm.
improved, grown, mature version of you that can now weather storms that used to literally drown you.
Okay. So what you're saying is shadow work deals with those painful, traumatic experiences that all of us have, right? But we handle it in different ways, right? I have a question. So are besides the fact, it's that the shadow work or the way you explain it is based on negative experiences, could it also be those things that we reject, that we repress, that we deny, those traits or maybe emotions, desires, or behavior that maybe we find undesirable for ourselves, and or we find that they're bad or unacceptable, and we try to repress it in a unconscious way. Would that fall into the definition too of, in your view, of what shadow
It,
is?
it, it
You know,
would
not
almost
not only in
fall
not
directly.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I guess not only in the conscious way. When you're talking about trauma, you're able, most of the time, sometimes not, identify what the trauma is, and and live with it in your face basically all the time. But could it be also those traits that we also repress, those things that we don't like about ourselves that are repressed, and somehow it affects our way of acting or reacting or seeing life in general?
It absolutely falls in smack in the middle of it. It's just a matter of learning to break it down so that you you heal the entire inner parts that aren't connected because they're not connected to any part of this grown you that's working every day,
Mhm.
taking care of children, a husband, a wife, a mortgage, a boat, a cliff, a tree, a dog, a
Mhm.
child. That person is not the same person that was stolen of innocence, or just I'm not scared to crawl into the dirt with those that have been hurt in the worst ways you can almost humanly think of, and pull themselves out
Mhm.
of it, because hope alone was the only thing they had. And now it's time to heal. And I mean, it's just healing, but you have to start in certain places. And if you don't start in them places, and if you don't do it genuinely just for you, then it usually doesn't take, it doesn't hold, and you usually revert back to those old ways quite quickly, because they're comfort zones. And in those comfort zones, we get comfortable. And life is not meant for comfort zones. So to create
Mhm.
those creates a shortcut to something to avoid a painful situation. And going through that, working through those shadows that created the animosity, the fears, the anxieties, the depression, the uh, lack of everything, the procrastination, the fear of people, the fear of man, fear of woman, whatever it is
Mhm.
that brought you to this level, can all be literally reworked in reverse as a mature mind. But you have to be willing to take your ownership. And from step one, your ownership, from there, it just kind of opens up like a dam releases. And it's just, it's quite beautiful, but at the same time,
Mhm.
it's intense, it's uncomfortable. It's that real ugly cry where you got snot coming down your nose and you can't breathe and your tears are burning because they hurt, because they're carrying
Mhm.
all of these years, decades of repression and hurt and not being seen and unappreciated. It's carrying all of that. So if you've got 40 years of swallowing that down and living on a river in Egypt somewhere floating on denial, then you have all of those decades that you have to take ownership for, because you just didn't want to take your ownership in the first place and start the healing process. So yeah, I think it
Totally.
falls flat.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, that makes sense. It's I read before about the concept of the shadow, but I never seen it apply in the spiritual sense until I came across your channel. So it was through your channel that I was able to understand it more broadly, how it's applied spiritually, and see, all the different variants. So, that I feel
thank
that
you.
that's one of your main contributions that you've done in the community, and for me, I was able to, you were able to open my eyes in terms of how shadow work can be applied. So thank you about that. Thank you for
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk about yourself. So do you want to share with us your story, your spiritual journey, what led you, anything that you want to share, from how did, maybe from childhood all the way to here, what led the different processes to the Hershey, this beautiful lady who does shadow work, that we know, what led to this person to now.
I I there's so many versions of me, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so there's this version of me that had these fabulous grandparents, right? We had a little horse farm, and we worked at this thing called life, right? We learned discipline, we learned consistency, we learned to earn, we learned respect, morals, values. Then there's a version of me that is got another set of grandparents where they are the exact opposite, Ramon, the exact opposite, right? Both
Mm-hmm.
own a business, both have substantial income for the 70s and 80s. And so there's a little bit of flossing going on, but one is doing it in a way where it doesn't exceed the means, and the other one can't even have a dollar in their pocket without it burning a hole in their pocket. So everything is extreme, 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 right? So,
Mhm.
but everything with this other set of grandparents comes with a different set of lifestyles, a different set of rules, a different set of everything, right? And then there is a mother that is not the greatest. So, with the mother comes my baby brother that I am my brother's keeper, and I promise you that you better not be what's in my way between me and him, no matter who you are or what you are. I don't care, you know? Um, so, because of him, uh, there was not so great between me and the mother figure. And then there's a version of me that had to learn street system, DYS, the juvenile system, foster care system, um, and not being wanted, not being, um, just being in the way. And so I had to learn how to hustle. I had to learn the street. I had to learn how to survive. That me has
Mhm.
slept under bridges. That me has destroyed people I'm not proud of. Um, but this me is from the very first me I was telling you about them amazing grandparents that they. I mean, you couldn't. I better not even look left. They did
Mhm.
not play. So I grew up. I ended up in prison when I was a teenager. I was not the greatest. I've got an extensive criminal record. Um, they are a variety, a plethora of
Mhm.
charges, felonies, misdemeanors. Then I had children, and I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue because I had no example. And then the grandparents that I loved more than life itself were much older, and I was coming out of the prison system, and I didn't know what to do. So they moved where I was at to help me and help. And at that time, I literally was just lost, right?
Mhm.
But I knew that prison had changed me. I never jaywalked after that. I never looked left when I should have been looking right. Prison literally broke me. I didn't want to go down that way anymore. I wanted to try to be a better person, even though I didn't have the greatest examples. I had examples, just didn't have the greatest of examples, except for in a certain very small corner of my life. And so then that said grandfather died Christmas morning, and I kind of shut Yule and Christmas and holidays off. You know, I didn't understand. I was broken for probably 10 years. I was lost. I was fighting cancer. I was in a real bad place. I felt myself slipping, and my grandma, my Gma, she literally moved right back in, and she absolutely didn't let me. She wouldn't let me, no matter what, no matter how, no matter who, no matter what. You are your grandfather's granddaughter, and you are Andy Dickey, and you will this, and you will that. And she kept reminding me, don't be a duck, don't get, or be the duck, don't get wet. You know, you've hit that wall 5 times, Hershey. You've got four more. Why aren't you hitting these other walls? Learn different lessons, grow a little bit. You know,
I like
I
that.
started just watching different things happen, and so then 2011 March 14th, um, I was on my second marriage. I was unhappy. My whole family knew it. I was living in Illinois. Uh, I was spending the biggest part of my family getting to know the Illinois side of my family that I absolutely was in love with, but I didn't get a chance to know them because I was very shortly with them and periods in time with my grandparents, but not so much when I was with them other three Hershey versions. And they weren't allowed to be in my life in them other three things. So I was enjoying, even though I was grown and my kids were, you know, teenagers, we were enjoying getting to know Aunt Deb, my Uncle John, my cousins. Last time I saw them, you know, they were just, you know, little bitty things. So they were
Mhm.
grown and, you know, their own houses. And I uh, I had a double aneurysm rupture on March 14th, 2011, and I died twice. I guess
Wow.
first time wasn't good enough because I'm hard headed and all the things that my aunt says probably trusted. It's probably true. I'm hard headed, and I guess I didn't get it the first time. I'm not making light of it, but it was the second time that it means the most to me because it was there that they let me know this borrowed time that I'm on right now. If I don't do right, I pay an instant consequence and I need to pay it forward. You need to show and tell what's over here, what people are questioning. You need to be able to help them. You need to be able to show them. You need to be able to connect. I've always been able to talk to ghosts my whole life. I just took advantage of it the wrong way. I didn't help them like I help them now. I used them to my advantage, and I I feel like that version of me that I allowed to stay dead in March 2011, it is my starting point. My whole life has revolved around death. Even when I was a kid, dreaming about premonitions about people that were going to die in my life, and they died exactly in that way how I said they were going to die, but nobody believed me because then I'm just a crazy person that sees imaginary friends, or my daughter's weirdo, or well, she's not white enough, or she's not this enough, or she's not that enough. And I use that as my strength now. It doesn't hurt anymore. I don't know if it's because I
Hmm.
have come back, and there is a part of me that doesn't do all the human things anymore. I don't get caught up in the human emotional part of life, and some people call me cold and distant. Um, but I'm not. I'm really not. I promise I'm not. I just don't allow what I can't control to affect me or to rent space in my head because I don't have time for it. The other side won't allow it.
Hmm.
And when they say jump, how high? So I just stopped fighting it.
Yeah. It's it's that the energy I get from you is that you're very wise. You're like this old spirit. But at the same time, um, it's interesting because now I get to understand, you've been through a lot of very strong situations. It's and I'm pretty sure during those
Interesting.
moments that those hard moments, it affected you emotionally, it affected your ego, your perception on life, so that in a way gave you ground to understand better without possibly not even knowing it, what the shadow is, right? And you had to work with yourself to be able to overcome doing shadow work on yourself without even possibly knowing, right?
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah, so
100%. And what I just wanted to say, when you say I'm always doing it, I am. I'm always remembering that um that pain that once was, and I built up all these things that I thought I needed, to go through all of those hell situations instead of just remembering what my grandfather always said: when you're going through hell, keep going. Don't stop. Don't turn around.
mhm,
Don't look back. Don't pause. Don't wait for nobody to come. Keep going.
yeah.
And those are my motivating factors. And when people start throwing the human things at me, I'm just looking at them like, stop. Your excuses are just that. I like to throw valid things back into them, like just common sense. Like your
Mhm.
point is valid, but it absolutely goes against the principle you're trying to build. So you either need to have a firm principle and foundation, or you need to allow anybody that has a valid point to come in and be a wrecking ball in your life. You just need to
Mhm.
start somewhere, and it doesn't matter. And you pick a date, and my date is March 14th, 2011. And then everything before that becomes something that I use to build on and turn from pain and transform it and transfer it in my life as something other than pain because it's been transmuted. So therefore it doesn't have the power. I'm using pain, and instead of allowing pain to use me.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. It doesn't define you. It's you define the situation, right? Those
No.
experiences, and that helped
Absolutely.
you
That's right.
expand
And
your
y'all keep saying
capabilities.
I'm sorry. Exactly. Absolutely,
And that,
absolutely. You say I'm
yeah.
sorry, you move on. You don't keep going back. You don't keep allowing people to pull you back down. Nope. Mm-mm. We done been there. We done this. We done crossed this road. We're not building that bridge. Mm-mm. Nope. Done. Over with. You have to let go of the human aspect of stuff that happened somewhere that you can no longer change. It's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do anything but clean up your heart. You can't clean up theirs. You can't carry their weight. You can't carry their load. You can only clean up your heart, your mind, your path, and carry your weight. And once you realize that and let go of all of the other things that you have been carrying, and once you start throwing it out and be like, wait, that's got John's name on it. That I don't even. Why am I even carrying it? It don't even have my name on it. Wait, this has got Diana's name. When that was like 40 years ago. Hold on, Diana, here you go. You don't have to worry if they're gonna catch it or not. It don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter. You're just
Yeah.
still carrying it. The best part of it, there's where the healing and the laughter gets to come in when you really get to looking at, you mean I was carrying that? I thought you were carrying, you get to almost be like, I can't even believe it. It really is a healing spiritual release when you get to just find the humor in what once was tears.
Yes, definitely. And, thank you for sharing with us those very intimate details of your life. And it helps us give, it helps me to give sort of like a context of where you come from and how is it that
Mhm.
this gave you the capability and the spiritual gifts to be able to handle and master shadow working. So, thank you.
Absolutely.
I want
It's,
to go,
I am
yeah.
difficult. So it wasn't easy. My tree broke my roots, and if you follow my channel, then I've got
Mm-hmm.
this huge poem that I've done on one of my videos, and it's my TT. She wouldn't let me. I mean, she did not love me enough to let me go. She loved me enough to break them walls, and I've got so much freedom now. I don't worry about the distractions holding me back. I worry about trying to figure out how I'm going to juggle the next thing because I know I can do it now. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're such a strong person. I want to go back into something you mentioned. You said that you have always been able to talk to ghosts. That's we want to
yes.
know it's everything about that.
Oh God. I can remember 2, 3, 4 years old. Um, they were always there, right? So somewhere around 4, maybe 5, my uncle John we had this horse named Beta Honey, right? So Beta Honey is this gorgeous honey colored quarter horse, right? And she's like 19 hands high. So she's like, I'm just this little bitty shit that's not even at her knees. And I'm trying to figure out how I can get up, right? So my Uncle John is
Uh-huh.
riding her, and she is not friendly, guys. She's not friendly, and only 2 people could ride her, and that was my grandpa and my Uncle John. Nobody else could even touch her. And anyway, my cousin Spike's bringing in this black stallion, right? And this black stallion has its original owner still attached. And I'm like, well, who is the guy trying to push Spike off? And my Uncle John was like, what? Looking at me. And I'm just like, who is that guy? Who is that guy? And I'm just little, right? Next thing I know, my grandma and grandpa are coming down and they're talking to Spike. And I'm just staring at this guy and I'm like, who are you? Who are you? And come to find out, he was the owner of the original owner. He had had a heart attack. And anyway, they were selling off his
Wow.
studs. And somehow my cousin, it was on it was on the jockey run. And, they were
Mm-hmm.
jockeys. He was training. It was going to the arena to be walked, but the owner guy was so attached he was stayed with the horse. So he kept slapping him on the ass, and I didn't understand that you don't slap a horse on the ass, right? And I'm learning. So at that point, I slide down off the back end of Bit of Honey's thigh, and I pop her. And about that time, boy, she literally I got kicked, but not hard. She didn't kick me hard, but she kicked me. but she was more traumatized. There was this old man Ford that used to come, and then I've met a couple of other Fords since then. And they're always been there. Now, before 2011, it was just small amounts. An occasional one if I was out and about that I would see. I don't see them. I didn't see them then like I see them now. Um, they were always just there, but I was using it to the wrong advantage. Like if I knew somebody had dirt on somebody, I was using that against the person that was alive, and they would be like, "There's no way you could have known that,"
Mm.
and I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's a way I could have known it." So um, I've always been able to. I don't know my life not having them around. Like when we lived at different farms, different houses. Houses, it seems like sometimes houses can kind of call to me. It's like it's a house is a living entity. And if there's a bad something attached to the house or the ground, it's like the ground or the house can kind of sense if I'm around, and it's like I feel like a magnetism to dark objects. Sometimes dark objects attach to ghosts, and ghosts are attached to Earth because of a dark object. I don't know. I don't know. I've always been that way, so I don't know. And then in 2011, when I woke up after my coma after 4 days, they were everywhere. I mean, everywhere. There. It was like a floodgate had been opened, and it went from maybe 100 occasionally to thousands. I mean, they were just everywhere. I'm like, holy shit! Turn it off. I wanted it off, but once you cross all the way over to the other side, they say near death experience is a little different than fully dying. I don't know. I don't know how all that goes, but once you fully cross over, then you can't put the veil back up. There's no off button.
Mhm.
There's no off switch. It's just learning how to control it. And from 2011 until probably 2018 or 19, I was a mad box out of control that was short circuiting on all four corners with no control because they were too many. They were too many. It was animals, it was elementals, it was creatures, it was shit that shouldn't be there was there. It was mud and leaf, and magic turned it into something else, and now it's just something. And it was madness. I was literally driving myself and anyone that was within 10 miles nuts because I could sense everything that was going on, and anyone that was within 10 miles of me and they had dead people around them, here comes another swarm, like just a mass amount of swarms. Portals open a lot around me now. Windows act a little weird. Mirrors sometimes kind of look like they've got a ripple effect going on occasionally. And the closer we get to Samhain, it only gets a little bit freakier. But since like 18 or 19, I've had two aunts that would do like, so my aunt Liz would do this healing Reiki on me to kind of pull uh different things out of different vertebrae or different parts with all the metal, because there's a lot of metal and there's a lot of recreation in my brain where veins that exploded or ruptured through the eight and well I technically I've had eight, but one was dissolved. So through the seven aneurysms, the 15 different brain surgeries or procedures I've had, there's been a lot of metal. And so my Aunt Liz would use she's a Reiki master. She was trained some years ago. And then my Aunt Liz, my TT, she's trained in healing. So she can do hot rocks and Reiki and gems and stones. And she can pull just different energies out of you. So my aunt Lizzie was taking Reiki, doing that kind of stuff, pulling things out of me, and TT was pulling just the icky yucky energies out of me, and they were, every day putting me in a kind of like this white, beautiful, serene, kind of spiritual, safe circle. And for like a year, 18 months, they just really just helped me, just literally let me rip me apart and then put me back together again. And where I am now is kind of the product of a tree that's upside down, exposing her roots and open and available and willing to talk about almost anything.
Mm. So Hershey is part zombie, part bionic woman, part Humpty Dumpty.
Yes, all of that and then some.
Is it safe to
Yes,
say that? uh,
and then some. Yes.
no, yeah, no, but that's amazing that you have always been able to tap into that. So let me ask you a question related to shadow working and that. Do you believe maybe like in a metaphysical sense that shadow work ties into the soul's evolution? Do you see like it's necessary for transcendence, or is it only a human experience?
No, it's mandatory, I would say. I need more people to understand that you can come literally from the mud. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally pull your ass out of the mud, be a horrible person. I have 5 felonies. I have like 149 misdemeanors. I was not a nice person, Ramon. I was not nice. There was nothing nice about me. And then everything changed. And now everybody's like, oh, you're this really good person. And I'm thinking, people like you ran from me my
Mm-hmm.
entire life because they were like, oh no, she ain't. So, yes, I absolutely know that if you want to be and want to have something on the other side that doesn't tie you to these meat suit weights and put anchors here, then you absolutely need to start working on that shadow and you need to work on your
Mm-hmm.
humanities because if you're still a nasty, ugly, rude, despicable, disgusting individual and you have no humanities, guess what? You're going from where you are right now to that bright light. Yeah, that's the birth canal. You're coming right back. You didn't learn any of your
Mm-hmm.
lessons. That bright
Yeah.
light that everybody wants. Yeah, that's the birth canal, guys. You're coming right
Mm-hmm.
back. You didn't learn much, so here you go. Let's try again. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it possible to shadow work a spirit?
Okay, so when they need,
Let.
okay, so there's a part of me that is a trance medium where I kind of sit and I energy bend with them, but I also am kind of a rescue medium, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
one of them that had something that was holding them there and they have completed that purgatory or penance or whatever you want to call it, I, as a rescue medium, can then remove the dark object, like neutralizing it, getting rid of it, and it allows them to move to the next part of their journey. I don't know if they're going to peace. I don't know if they're going up, down, to the left, to the right. I don't know where they're going. I just know that I get them to a point and then they do the rest of the walk on their own, but it feels really good. So I'm assuming it's beautiful, whatever is on the other side of that wall that I walk them to.
Yeah. Is there any specific experience that you could remember that you would like to share with us of doing shadow work with a spirit?
So I was at TT's house one day, and this was probably, I don't know, 29. No, this was probably 2020, 2021. We were just either we were getting ready to go to Anna Marie Island. We were doing a girls. We did like a 15-day girl trip. It was me and her. It was supposed to be a couple other cousins, but the other couple other cousins got kids and wives and husbands, so they couldn't make it. So it was me and TT, right? So we drive all the way to Orlando. We get to Orlando. We pick up one of the cousins. So it's just us girls. We get to the island house, and we're in the island house, and my aunt is telling the cousin about this experience I had like either the day before or like 2 days before we head out. So and when I'm in trance, they can jump me, so to speak, but not in a way that would hurt me, right? It's a way to
Mm.
say what something that happened to them, or if they have an accuser, this is their way of getting their justice by being able to speak maybe something that happened to them or who could have hurt them, right? So I was sitting in my aunt's living room, and my aunt tells the story best. But all of a sudden, I'm sitting there, we're watching some mindless crap on TV, and my leg is on fire. I mean, I jump up, I'm screaming, I'm pulling up my nightgown. I mean, I'm just screaming, running through the living room, and she's jumping up, Hershe, Hershe, Hershe Lynn, Hershe Lynn, what? And I'm just pull my dress up, and there's this huge just whelps just showing up on my thigh, on my hips, all up the left and right side of my body where I'm being burnt alive. So this witch has jumped me and she's letting me experience her death because she never got justice by who killed her. And I'm
Mm.
going to go ahead and say who did it, but it was Christopher Columbus who set her on fire. And she never got justification for it. She jumped me and vesseled me, and I got to experience her death. And afterwards, just watching her go up in this gorgeous, beautiful pinks and purple, just turning in from this thing that looked like lava on fire because she was an innocent woman that was brutally murdered, and so many other things that happened to her because she was in the spiritual world. She was I don't know, not like necessarily a midwife, but she would have been a witch back then. They would have went to her for healing, to help them bring babies into the world. They also would have went to her to be a bone collector to help their dead cross over in a safe way, or a sin eater. So she would have had multiple jobs that she did for the magical community in the spiritual realm. And then certain individuals came in and took her land. Well, she was Haitian, I believe, if I remember correctly. What we would now know them as Haitian. I don't remember what it would have been then. I did then, but I don't now. It's been so long ago. I don't remember it. But that one hurt the worst. I had the worst scarring ever. Like my aunt had to use some magic and create like this, like paste, like pate kind of stuff for like healing, and I would have to apply it to the whelps and the burns that were on my thighs and my hips and my arms from her. But it was also the most beautiful because the freedom she got from being able to speak Christopher Columbus's name was, I don't know, it was just beautiful, and I love what I do on the other side. I don't talk about it a lot. I keep it very private, but that one is it's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
How did you acquire this knowledge?
Through her, through her, as we were we were energy bending. So I experienced them coming in, sending the men out for a hunt party, and keeping the women and children in the village. And then he had pirates or something come in and annihilate the women and children while the men were off on a hunting party. And then there was another party that was waiting for the men and got them as well. He was eliminating entire tribes and
People might
villages.
be listening to this story. They might be like, "What? This story is so weird," but it's so,
And
and I'm like, I have goosebumps because it's so historically accurate. Christopher Columbus had his base in La Española. La Española is this island that today is divided between Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And from all the Caribbean islands, Christopher Columbus set base in the island. And he did a lot of atrocities to the natives, horrible things. He burned them alive,
she also let me
massacred them.
that her granddaughter, the woman that vesseled and jumped me, her daughter is in mummy form in a museum in France. Her
Mm,
granddaughter. I cannot remember her name right now, but she's literally in a museum right now in France.
mm-hmm,
And
yeah.
she's got a big old booty. That, oh my God, TT, do you
Mm-hmm,
remember her? Oh God, I need her name. Oh, I need her name. I'm gonna get her name. I'm gonna get her name. But she's very
mm-hmm,
much. I. It was all we fact checked everything, found her lineage. It was so beautiful. I loved
mm-hmm.
being able to help her cross over.
And one of the interesting things listening to your story, there is a story of there was this woman. She was a Indian chief, and her name was Anacaona. And when they went to execute her because she was so powerful, Christopher Columbus rounded hundreds of the natives, and he, under the excuse, under the false pretense that they were going to have a meeting to try to resolve their issues, he locked all of them and burned them alive. And that
Oh
happened
yeah,
actually in La Española, which is,
I
where
believe you
Haiti and
100.
Dominican Republic is. Hmm.
Yep. No,
Yeah. Oh my God, that is so.
he is not the guy that everybody believes him to be. Um, I believe the dead more than I'll ever believe human. I say it all the time. I don't care who takes that the wrong way, but they've never let me down ever. Not one time. Not once have
Mm-hmm.
they lied to me, let me down, led me the wrong way. I can't
Mm-hmm.
say that about the human side. I can't say that about the living. I can't. I can't. So at first I was freaking. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand it. But when I got to come back, I got to come back with some pretty amazing gifts that get to help a lot of people that need rescued on the other side, not this side. What I do on my channel and with all these beautiful gems, I do it because I want to. I wanted to be a psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted my PhD in psychology and I wanted it to specialize in the criminal mind. And I have my associate's degree in psychology. And I was working on my bachelor's degree in 2011 when I got sick and I started having aneurysms. And then I couldn't retain the book knowledge, but I had all the street knowledge that would have got me all the way to my PhD, but now I can't retain the book part knowledge. So I just kind of stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the little counselor in me, and they're crowding me out. As you can see, when I talk about them, they love to crowd around me as I'm starting to look like I'm melting, but I don't
No,
have my
no,
fan
you
with me.
can't
I'm in my
tell. We can't tell from here. You look great. So going to your, talking a little bit more about, you want to go and get a fan or something? You might need a hand fan.
could I could you excuse me 1 second?
Yes,
1 second.
take your time.
Oh my goodness.
Take your time.
Oh my gosh. I
She
holy crap. You guys been out a little
in
bit. Goodness gracious.
in the meantime, let me say hi to a few people we have here. Jonathan. Hello, Jonathan. Aloha. Thank you for being here. Karen. Thank you very much, Karen, for stopping by. Let's see, the conquistadors also burned the books in the Mayan people. Yes. Uh-huh. And a lot of the Aztecs codexes. Very few survived. Um, Look at you. You just completed the outfit. You just wanted to show off with an accessory to make you look much more fabulous. There you go. So let me ask you, in your channel, how do you what divination tools do you use to explore to do shadow work?
I use my team. I use my ghost. I use my guides. I use my guides to kind of investigate their subconscious, see what they've got in there. Most of the time they'll tell you what they want you to know at face value. And that's where I use my team to kind of go dig into that subconscious and see what is it that they're not talking about. When I say I
Mm-hmm.
need to know what your darkness is, I don't need you to sit here and tell me that you oh well, I've never done anything but stolen a pack of gum in my life. Then I am not the person for you, and you need to go find you, someone else, because
Mm-hmm.
that's not to me what shadow work is about. You have to be willing to say, well, you know what, I did this, 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 and this, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna be able to sit there and either relate or after 10 years almost in prison, I'm going to have known because you can't go through almost 10 years in prison and not go through some kind of treatment program more than once. So trust me, I have been through
Right.
that system and I have been treated and mistreated more times than you can shake a stick at. So
Yeah.
um, the fact that you can't be honest with somebody that's literally telling you anything you want to know about my background. I don't care what it is. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not going to apologize for it. It
Mm-hmm.
happened. Ain't nothing I can do about it. Now, if you want to talk about me, then make sure you start at March 14th, 2011, because that's the me that I am now. If you're going back to 90, 80, 70, then go right ahead. That's my trash. If you can use my trash, go right ahead because I was done with it a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. And we had Davaria Cook says, Hershey, I love your story. Sometimes we have to go through some things to be able to bring light to others. And that is so true. It's our experience and
Absolutely.
how we interpret it
100%.
and how we process it. to be able to share with other people, and that's what you've done. You have so many stories and experiences, and you've been able to uh distill the essence, to bring out the essence of the lessons, and apply it in shadow work, right?
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. But
Yeah.
I did learn it through school though. The more my professors heard my story, they pushed for like certain classes, like Hershey, you need to take humanities. So where I only needed maybe a semester, I took an entire year of humanities. Or
Mm-hmm.
if I needed a semester in religions of the world, I took an entire year of religions of the world, and I learned about Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, different signs, different ways for numerology, different things to look at code, different ways to look into colors. I started understanding auras. I really got into bad guy energy because it's easier for a bloodhound to chase the bad guy than it is sometimes to look for positive when there's more negative in the world. So I learned how
Mm-hmm.
to use that to kind of work in reverse sometimes. I use my gift to help missing people. I have a second channel that I have here on YouTube, where I use it strictly devoted to helping crime. Where I used to be the opposite way. I
Oh.
used to be the one that was breaking the rules. Now I'm bringing the criminal knowledge mind to the crime. I'm helping locate loved ones, individuals, animals. Sometimes if somebody hits me up and they're like, my animal's missing, and if I can't locate them, then there are my aunt, who I call TT. She is very good at helping locate, reading the energy, and then my niece is real good at it too. My niece is also um, basically a Ouija. We call ourselves a Ouija. We work and communicate with the dead. So kind of our thing. So
Mm.
we call ourselves.
I didn't know about that other channel. That's so interesting.
Oh, yep, yep. It's so I draw sigils. I've been drawing sigils my whole life. I didn't know it. My family was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, she's doodling somewhere." They just said I was always doodling. And then one day I was doodling at TT's house, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I got this whole big, huge notebook, and just every page is just sigil after sigil after sigil, and I'm like, "They're just doodles." And she was like, "No, they're not, young lady. These are sigils, and you've been doing this your whole life." And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." And she's like, well, wow, and we started looking them up, and come to find out, they're a mixture of lost languages, hieroglyphs, and sigils kind of put together for common sense uh, keys to working shadow out. And now it's my oracle deck I'm creating, and I'm in the process of bringing to life.
Nice. I love that. So, do you use tarot? Like, what divination tools do you use? Like tangible divination tools?
Oh my gosh. I forgot that was the original question going for a fan. So I have a spirit box. I have the ghost. I do have tarot. I do have oracle, but for the most part, I use Miles and Metatron and Azazel
Mm,
when he's not too busy, or
mm,
Set, or Thoth, or um, Ba, or Ishtar, or any of them that need me. I'm there. So
wow.
I use elements to my advantage. I use dominoes. I'm like you.
Mm-hmm.
I use sticks. I've got dowsing
Mm-hmm.
rods. I have many tools. Lots of tools. I like
Nice.
tools. I have dice.
Nice.
I don't know. I have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they're all fun and they all have different energies. They tell us a different story, but it's all interconnected, right? Those
Mhm.
are just physical
Yep.
representation of messages. It can be in the shape of a card, of a
Yep.
dice, of a rock, of a
Mhm.
pendulum. But those are tools that we
Mhm.
connect with, tangible connects, tangible connections to abstract and spiritual things, right? So
Yes.
we are
Yes.
at
Yes.
1 hour. Are you okay for more questions?
I am.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So let me ask you, do you think that shadow work opens a portal into past lives that maybe allow us to resolve not only experiences or trauma that we've had in this lifetime, but possibly um, other lifetimes, other wounds that we brought over to this new existence.
Okay, so the best way I can say this, what I work on is this walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to work on prior walk um, e- experiences, on the other side, it's not so much shadow or trauma. It's more like experiences. There's no time on
Mm-hmm.
the other side. It's a whole different thing. So I wouldn't say that you could work on it from another point of view in another version of you. You would have to stay in the walk that you're in order to move either forwards or backwards once you complete one at a time. But you would do it in
Mm-hmm.
different ways on the other side or in other parallels.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Do you know other shadow workers in the community?
I do. I do.
Yeah. So
I'm not
asking
the only
in
one, I promise.
general, okay. Asking in general, we all have our shadows, and some of them we resolved, some of them we haven't resolved. We're still working on them. In your opinion, how does those unresolved shadow aspects can affect the readings that we do for others? Do you think that unresolved shadows can color those interpretations that we give?
Oh yeah. Well, if you put you in the reading, if you allow your opinion to, if your biased opinion becomes heavily saturated in the read, then yes, I believe that it would happen. But if you remember to keep you and your opinion on the sideline, then no, I wouldn't think that it would. I do believe that everything is a choice, and I do believe that you can choose to be biased or you can choose to be unbiased in the situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, for someone who's never had the experience of going through shadow work, what advice do you give to someone who is maybe hesitant to engage in shadow work because they could possibly fear something that might uncover? What advice do you give them to be able to go through that threshold to work with their shadows?
I don't know if it's really advice. I mean, it's you kind of just hit a bottom, Ramon. I mean, you just hit a bottom. They when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, you hit this bottom that you can't explain. There's
Mm-hmm.
literally there ain't a bit of light, there ain't a door, there ain't a window, there is nothing there but you, and you got to get you out of there. There ain't no helping hands. There it's just not there. This is an addict that doesn't want to be an addict anymore. This is an alcoholic that doesn't want to be an alcoholic anymore. If you're done carrying that shadow and you don't want to be the person you were when you looked at yourself that morning, that's that bottom. And if you're not there, if you still see light, if you still got a rope hanging to get your ass out of that box, you're not at your bottom. You're not ready yet. And I mean, that's the
Mm-hmm.
most honest way I can say it. You have got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, and your sick and tired's got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. There's just no way but up and shadow work. Like I cannot go no farther. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would go any other way. Not truly putting all of you out into you to pull you out of you can't be done lightheartedly.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It must be a
I don't know if
very
that's a good question.
emotional. Yeah, yeah, I did. It did. It
Okay.
might be very intense emotionally to be able to handle those energies when you're doing shadow work with someone. How do you clear yourself from not being able to carry that with you?
Uh, it's a part of my job. I carry it. I carry people's shadows with them. They're not carrying them alone. Once
Mm-hmm.
they start working with me, you're not carrying it alone. I'm not going to let you. You're not going to do any part of this by your own. You have to do all the work. You're just not going to do it alone. You're not going to have to
Mm-hmm.
worry about being in the worst of the worst, because the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst already happened. What you're
Mm-hmm.
about to put yourself through is the safest way of bringing you out of you, So it's not like you're physically experiencing the action, the trauma, the event again. You're not physically being beaten, broken, abused, mentally, physically,
Mm-hmm.
shallowly, any of the ways. There's none of that is happening. You are this time the only one that's in control. And every part of it is a choice. And we're going to make every choice. We're not going to let life, karma, fate, or destiny make near one of them choices. Not no more. We will make our own choices. Whether there's a consequence on the other end of it or not, we'll make them choices and we'll get through it together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. So, do you believe that shadow work can open doors to maybe deeper spiritual dimensions, maybe crossing into spaces that challenge our understanding of time?
Oh, ah, obviously I'm going to say yes to this, but again, that's kind of a shallow answer just to say yes, because it's there's so much more you can't even begin to understand. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
literally kind of the tip of the iceberg on it. Literally, that's the tip of the iceberg.
Mm. Okay. So, let's go back to your channel. What future projects do you have coming up? In which direction do you want to take your channel? What is it that you want to do to be able to expand, reach other people, help more?
I I just kind of go with the flow. I don't know. Everybody used to say you got to have a blueprint. You got to have this, and says who? Says who? I mean, I don't think so. I don't. My life up until this point, if this is the blueprint I was created from, I'm kind of glad the cloth doesn't exist anymore. Because woo, boy, it's been a humdinger to get here. But man, I don't think so. That's the best part. It was we get to not worry about construction. We don't have to worry about
Mm-hmm.
conventional when there's unconventional, and unconventional is so much better. I i love what I do. I go to other channels. I have more fun on other people's channel than probably on mine, except for meta and scavenger hunts. Like, I love my pop-ups, I love my gems, but I like just coming to be a guest and literally putting my feet up and just getting to know people. So I don't know what's ahead, but I know what isn't
uh,
ahead of me, and that's a headache. And I don't worry about it. I just literally take it as it goes. Man, it's gonna happen. Whether it's chaos controlled or chaos that's broken. Either way, we're gonna be present, we're gonna be in the moment, and we're gonna have a whole hell of a lot of fun doing it. So I don't
mm-hmm.
know.
It just occurred to me to ask you, do you remember the first reading you did to someone?
Are you talking like in my life reading or on here?
In your life reading? Like the first time you used divination
Oh
maybe to
gosh.
share insight with someone?
I was 12 or 13. We were packing to move to Florida, and I found my mom's tarot and oracle deck collection. My mom had a Ouija board. My mom had all this weird
You,
shit, and I didn't know what it was. And she had it
your
hidden in a trunk.
your mom
My mom did.
had
She
them.
had it hidden in the
Really?
trunk. Yeah, the one that called me a freak and a weirdo my whole life has got a whole trunk full of what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I didn't touch the tarot for some reason. I was intimidated. I was like, no. But I touched that Oracle deck, and I have had an Oracle deck in my hand since I was 13 years old. I don't. I think the first read I ever did might have been on my baby brother, or sneaking and trying to do some bad juju on my mom because I was probably mad at her for some. I don't know, but I was a teenager, and it was an Oracle deck, and 6.5 years ago, I picked up my first tarot deck at my aunt's house, and she gave me a Ciro Martetti tarot deck and said, "Here, go read, go learn." And a week later, I didn't know what the basics were, but I found me in the tarot deck. So, like, every single one of the cards of the tarot deck is me. In some point in my life, I am a tarot deck,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I'm learning. I guess that's why I'm working backwards. I'm learning like basics of it now, 6 years
Mm-hmm.
later. Because I'm an intuitive reader. I take whatever's on
Yeah.
that tarot card and I apply it to where I was in my life
Mm-hmm.
at that time. And I'm like, that's not what you really want. Here's what you really need, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, I found me in it. So
Yeah. That makes sense. Do you have a
I don't ever want to
significator? Is
stop.
there a card? Is there do you have a significator? Is there a card that you see that you identify with?
10-1, the wheel and the magician.
The wheel and the magician. What about them you feel identify with? What about it? What about those cards?
So tens are stop signs for me, right? But when you think about the wheel of fortune, you think about literally it's never stopping. It's the hamster wheel. It's literally the wheel of life. It is the wheels on your tire that go round and round. It is the ball and chain. It is the serpentine belt. It's constantly moving. It don't ever stop. That is what life is all about. When you think about when you take the 10 and you literally try to force something to happen, I believe that's when in my life that one reflects itself, and that's where it comes back to itself and reminds me that no matter how far I think I am off my journey or out of pocket or just in an uncomfortable situation, that 10-1 energy reminds me I'm only a half step away from getting right back into the correct motion, forward mobility that I need to be in, whether I'm at the top of my day or I'm at the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Mo says Hershey as the Hierophant to me. He sees you as the Hierophant.
That's my nemesis. That's my nemesis.
Is
I do not like him. I don't like him. I don't have
you're
nothing to throw at my teeth
reflecting
right now.
what you don't like. He perceived that. What about the Hierophant you don't like? Is it the religious
It's the Pope.
connotation?
Okay, it's the Pope. It's the religious
Mm,
part. It's the Pope. It's the one where he's got the thing on his head, and it's the Pope whole thing. You don't know what I know, and then still honor something that breaks every commandment, but gets mad at you when you do. So
mm-hmm.
I've got my opinions about that, but they're my opinions. But it is just when you take the Hierophant and you make it a witch doctor or a shaman or shaman or a
Or a
teacher, a
guru
mentor,
or yeah.
a guru, anything, I absolutely love it as long as my two keys are there. But if it is in the form of clergy or pope, I can't
Uh-huh.
stay. I don't care how much I love that deck. I will throw that card every time it pops up. I will throw it halfway across the room. I don't like you. It's just a
Really?
personal thing. Yeah.
Wow, that is so interesting. Oh my God. And it's with that's card 5 of the major arcana. Yeah, card 5. And it's interesting because
Yes, they are. Yep.
I had a weird relationship with the 5 of pentacles. That was a card I never liked. And
Really?
it's I was kind of like scared about it, or it just gave me bad vibe until one day I I stopped and reflected on the card and see what is it that I don't like. But I came to see it different now. Because I I, I felt like a lot of pain at first looking at the card. These people, they're struggling, they can't walk, they're on crouches, in the snow, abandoned, rejected. But I see it differently now. I see it, it's a card of survival, it's of strength, of resilience,
Mhm.
because they don't just lay there to die. They just go forward in spite of the
That's right.
of the pain, of the agony. They have hope, and they move forward. And after that came to me, I see it differently. I find it as a card of strength. So maybe you'll
Me
get
too. I
beyond
like.
the Hierophant. Maybe someday you'll get beyond the Hierophant figure.
I'm trying. Excuse me. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying. It is literally. It's literally just when they're dressed like, the do no wrong pope. So it's just a
Mm-hmm.
personal thing, but I will get past it eventually.
It makes sense. We'll make note of it. All right, Miss Hershey. Anything else you want to share with us about you, your
That's not
channel?
enough.
Anything you want to share? Huh?
That's more than enough. More than enough. Nope. That's more than enough. Nope.
All
I'm
right.
going on a cruise
Um.
in 29 days. I don't have anything on my channel.
Yes. Yes, Miss Hershey is very excited. You're going on a cruise, right?
I am. 29 days.
Yes. In 29 days. Countdown. 29 days, that's November
Yes.
3rd? November 3rd. That's the Day of the Dead.
Second. We sail. I
On the
can't
second.
wait.
The
I'm gonna be floating.
the second is the Day of the Dead. There's Halloween, the Day of All Souls is the first, and the Day of the Dead is the second. Nice. That's a great way
Yep.
to
And I'm
commemorate it.
going to be enjoying.
Nice. You got to do a live from the cruise. Hershey live from the
I
Bahamas or
want to do
wherever you
one
are.
from the Bahamas. Yeah, it's on my to-do list. It is definitely on my to-do list. As long as I have
Uh-huh.
service, I'm if not, I'll just do a bunch of pre-records and then I'll put it all together when I get back or something.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Okay, so we're gonna do a game that you might know already. It is called This or That, in which I ask you 10 situational questions, and you will choose between two tarot cards, and you'll tell me why. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. All right.
I've been ready for this
Question
for
number.
months.
All right. Question number one. Would you rather take a selfie at the edge of a cliff with the fool, or at a wild party with the devil?
You know what? I was raised to be a fool, so I'm definitely going to the edge and I'm going with the fool.
You're going with the fool. You like the risk, the adventure, the possibility,
Yes,
right?
I'm an adrenaline junkie. I've bungee jumped and all that shit in my life. So yeah, I once was an adrenaline junkie. So yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely going with the fool. I'll be a fool any day, but I won't be a damn fool. Absolutely, yes.
I find this card so interesting because in reality, if you look at it, you don't know what's happening under there, right? You might be
Absolutely.
thinking he's jumping off a cliff, but in reality, maybe there's just ground right after it, right? Maybe it's not a cliff.
Absolutely. We're in our lost at this moment. That's right. That's right. All you gotta do is
So
let
it,
go.
it
That's right.
who is classifying this person as a fool? It's us, but we don't have the whole picture of what's going on. So to me,
That's right.
this card is very, very powerful in that sense, right? It's it's
Yes.
us making assumptions of things, not having the whole information. But in spite of that,
That's
he
right.
knows what's going on, and that's what gives him the strength to go forward. Yes,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right. That's awesome. All right, question number two: are you a shopaholic or a penny pincher?
Oh my God. I cannot keep a dollar. I don't know what a budget is. I have to say that I'm a shopaholic on Zero budget. I have I have beer money and champagne taste, so there you go. Yeah, I'm definitely a shopaholic. I'm window shopping even when I'm not supposed to be.
What do you like to buy? What things makes you a shopaholic?
Oh
What
my
is it
god,
that?
crystals and stones. Oh my god, crystals and stones and sundresses. I am obsessed with sundresses and crystals and stones. I have
Oh my
probably
god,
three
really?
100 plus crystals and stones, and I don't have near that many sundresses, but I am obsessed with crystals and stone. I can't help myself. I can't. I will go broke
W-
in a metaphysical store if they have crystals and stones.
Oh my god, what was the
I'll go
last
broke.
crystal or what's the last crystal or stone that you buy?
Uh, Blue flask moonstone,
And what is your favorite stone?
moonstone,
The
citrine,
moonstone. Uh huh.
moldavite,
Moldavite.
strawberry quartz. Don't wrong. Oh God. Yeah, Dalmatian. Yeah, flower jasper. Yeah, I can't pick one. There's not one. There's no such thing as one favorite. Howlite. Without howlite or tourmaline or watermelon or fluorite, you gotta have calcite. Can't go anywhere with. I can't. I can't. I can't. Pick one.
I can see you. That's you when you're trying to decide it to buy it or not. Like, no, I have to do it. I have to do
Which one? More like which one I have to have one. I just don't know which one. This got the pillow, but this one there, this one there, which I don't get a birthmark. I can't help it.
it. Oh my god! And Jonathan says, "I'm the same Hershey." Crystals are so beautiful.
We can't go
They're
shopping
amazing.
together then. We'll never make it out. We'll be stuck there.
Would you imagine you go on the cruise and there is a stone of crystals? There's a store of crystals and stone there.
So there is Thomas and I are putting a meet and greet together for Key West, Florida, right? And there's a few of the beautiful, lovely community that have reached out to Thomas and I for the meet and greet. And those that are familiar with the area in like Key West or have taken the cruise before, they've already let me know when I get to Key West, I've got like a little road map. I get off the little dock and I go left and I take a right. I go left and then there's a crystal stone. When I get to the Nassau or the private island, there's a little stone. I just have to go left and then count three huts and go, to the purple shed, and then that's going to be a metaphor. I've already got them all mapped out and ready to go. I'm not going to miss them. I am hunting a hagstone. I have been hunting a hagstone my entire freaking life, and I have yet to find one. I have given almost everything away to get one. I get so close to getting a hagstone, and then I lose it. So I am bound and determined to not return to the US of A without a hagstone.
Hagstone, Hagstone. I have to look it up. I never heard of that. I've never heard of that.
Okay.
So there is a question here. Care Bear is asking, what crystals will you take on a cruise? On your cruise, are you taking any
I'm
crystal
thinking
with you?
aquamarine, obviously. I mean, I'm going to need aquamarine. I'm going to need the water element, obviously. I'm going to need to balance it with howlite or Dalmatian. I'm
Mm-hmm.
probably going to need some Apache tear and maybe obsidian. And since I have green obsidian, blue obsidian, and black obsidian, I'm going to need to make sure that I bring my dark moon. Uh, uh, what is that thing? Well, TT, what is the my moon? My moon thing. Well, I can't think of what it is right now, but I will think of it. But anyway, quite a few are wanting to go with me, but I keep thinking that I'm gonna leave them here and make them behave, and I'm going to build
Mm-hmm.
grids to protect all the rooms and hold the house down. And then I think I'm just going to bring more kids home with me.
Okay. So basically, you're gonna go on the cruise with your purse, a carry-on, and another a bag with stones. You're gonna have to pay extra for
No, no,
for the
empty
carry-on
so that
with
I can bring
stones.
them back with me. Yeah, I'm gonna be bringing them
Okay.
back with me. I'm gonna get them from the Bahamas and Freeport and Nassau and Key West. I'm just gonna fill a little like a fanny pack. Ain't that what you call them? That go around your waist. I'll
Uh-huh.
take an empty fanny pack so I can just stuff every stone right there in my fanny pack and just bring them right on home with me.
All right. So Jonathan says, really, he has a lot of hack stones. I'm going to
Rub it
look it up.
in.
Never heard.
And you think I don't already know that there is,
He has
somewhere
so
around
many.
four that
Not
are
many.
within
He
reach
he has
right
so
now?
many. How
Need my
humble, right?
address.
So many.
That's what Miles said you needed my address. I get it now. I understand.
All right. Let's go to the next question. Question number 4. The universe hires you for a part-time gig. Which would you take? Actually, no. I skipped one. Uh, best plot for a horror movie: Judgment Day or A Nightmare on the Nine of Swords Street.
I can justify a lot of stuff. I think I'm going with justice.
With
I
Judgment.
can justify a lot of things. I mean,
Uh
judgment.
huh.
Yeah, I can justify a whole lot. I can make anything bend to my way and my mind, and well, just strap in because we're gonna have fun with it. I'm gonna
All
be
right.
judging
So
everything along the way anyway.
let's test your creative skills. What happens after here?
Well, from judgment, usually we're going to be sent to some off the wall, prison or boot camp that nobody ever comes back from. And they're going to probably try to throw us under the place. But if they happen to throw us somewhere, if this is future tech and we're like in a prison on the moon or something, we're literally going to have to figure out how to one escape, dig out, and we're going to have to fight all the cryptids and moon creatures, and we're going to have to figure out how to breathe. It's going to be a whole thing, but we are going to have to face the consequences that come with it.
Oh my god. I'm gonna rewind the video. I mean, I'm gonna go back to the video, write all that down, and make a short story based on that. I will, and then we're gonna revisit it with your storyline.
Absolutely.
Love
Absolutely.
it. I will. I will. All right. Question number 4. The universe hires you for a part-time gig. Which would you take? Babysitting or zookeeper?
Oh, zookeeper. No, no, no
Z-
doubt. Look, me, babies, humans, children, even my own. No, you can have them back. I'm done. I'm going with
no.
the animals.
Z-
I'm taking the animals. Yeah,
Do you
love
have
the
a
kids
pet?
and grandkids, but I
Do you currently have a
personally
pet?
okay. So I don't choose them; they choose me. But these two little cats around here seem to think that I'm the mama, and I'm not the mama. But they seem to think I am. I've had pets my whole life, from every size, shape, domesticated, farm, reptile. I love animals. They're my thing. I love them.
So do
Dead
I.
people,
Pets
animals, and
make our
people.
yeah, pets or animals in general, they make our lives so much better. I have to say. I have two chihuahuas and they bring
Absolutely.
so much happiness to my life. And I feed
Mm,
squirrels and the birds in my patio, and it's just they bring such positive and beautiful energy that complements our own, right?
wow. I love them.
Yeah. All right, question number 5. You are at a cosmic bar and the universe sends you a free drink. Which one will you choose? A drink made a custom made cocktail by the Temperance Angel or a mystery drink by the Ace of Cups.
See, I don't mind the promise, but I don't want a promise of something later to come because I can't get pregnant, but that could mean pregnancy. So I'm gonna go. You take that Ace of Cups and take the promise. I don't want that one. I'll take the Temperance. It might hurt, burn, and taste nasty, or come from a cauldron and have air in it. But I'm gonna take that
Hmm.
Temperance up. There's a promise
Temperance.
that comes with aces, and no.
Let's go back to that. You said pregnancy with the Ace of Cups. Do you want to elaborate with that?
It's a aces are promises, right? So if
Uh
that
huh.
promise means that there's something more to come, right? There has to be a beginning, the ace. Well, the promise means
Mm-hmm.
that it's yet to come, and that could mean pregnancy because it's the cup, it's the emotion. There's all the emotions in pregnancy. So I don't want to take that risk, even though I can't get pregnant. There's weird things, and everything happens on the other side. I'm not taking that chance. I'm going with temperance.
Okay,
Love is
I'm
a
gonna add
crazy
that.
thing, and that's an
I
emotion. That's
think I think that whole explanation I'm gonna add it to my short story along with the cryptids and and the moon story. So if you're getting a custom made drink by the Temperance Angel, by the Temperance Angel, what would your drink be? What do you like? What do you like to enjoy drinking?
my God, I don't know, but it better have oh, what is it? What is it? It has to have oh my God, it's pink tequila. What is it? My God, it's pink tequila. Oh my gosh. I don't know, Kahlua, tequila, rum, um, something. Tequila or rum. I don't want to gin
Okay.
because gin makes you sin. Like, goes the wrong way. Gin makes you sin. I don't want to sin.
Uh-huh.
Whiskey makes me feel like I'm 10 foot tall and bulletproof. So it absolutely has to be tequila or rum. Tequila rose. There you go. Thank you, TT, for knowing me.
Tequila Rose.
tequila, tequila rum. Tequila rose. Yes.
Tequila Rose. There's coconut rum.
Coconut
Hmm.
rum. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Mhm.
All right. Question number 6. You're running late to an important meeting. Would you rather draw the Chariot for quick transportation or the Knight of Swords for speedy communication to excuse yourself?
There's always a victory at the end of the chariot. Now you may go in two different directions. It may have to take you the roundabout way, but I think I'm going to have to go with final victory at the end. Whether I'm late or I may not even show up at all, I'm still going to have victory.
With the Chariot.
Yes, I picked the chariot.
That's a really good answer. This card is has always been so mysterious to me because it's that combination of like opposites, but in spite of that challenge of opposition, you're moving forward, right? And you're leaving the emotional behind. See the water behind. Are you a Rider Waite
Yeah, but
person? Do you
it's
like the Rider Waite?
no, I'm a clone
Uh,
or Thoth actually, or Marseille or Pip. But no, see, here's where my chariot in my world is. See, those two different representations, one is your head and one is your heart. And when your head and your heart are not going in the same direction, your chariot is not going in the same direction. If your heart is pointing in one direction and your head is looking up and looking in the clouds, or just not going in the same direction, there's a tear, there's a rift. You're still going forward. You're just not going in the same direction together as one. You're going in different directions, but you're still getting there. So as long as you're going in the same direction, your head and your heart are leading you, and you're not
mhm.
going to get led the wrong way. But sometimes, you get torn when your head and your heart aren't going in the same direction. So it could become difficult, but you're still going to win. You're just not going to get there as quickly as you want to. So,
All right, so this is your final answer. You will go with the Divine Uber late to the meeting, but you'll
yes,
get there.
yes, yes, yes.
I like that,
I'm
right?
gonna have
The
to blame
Divine Uber.
Hair comes up, hair comes up.
All right, question number 7. You're hosting a party and the snacks run out? Would you rather draw the Empress for endless abundance or the Magician to conjure more snacks?
Oh, I'm definitely going with the magician. I'm only going to make up enough of just what I need because as soon as the party's over and this round is over with, everybody else
Who's
is
gonna
too.
clean?
It's time to go.
And who's gonna clean
Absolutely.
all those?
You ain't got to go home. Up out of here. Yep.
No one has ever said that. I actually like that. Just exactly what you need.
Yep. That's
So
it. Just exact. Down to the chip. Like that's the last chip. Yep. Yep. All right. Yeah. Bye. See you later. Next time. Yep. Like that. Don't let them
all right,
go.
this is
You got to
over.
let
Get out of
them go.
here.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
So if you throw a party at home, and you invite me, what things can I find at your party in terms of snacks and things to eat and stuff?
Okay, so I like to eat clean, believe it or not. I eat a lot of junk food when it's just me, and I do not take the best care of myself when I'm just spending for moi. But anytime I am doing it for someone else, you best believe we are going to get those healthy goodies. I'm going to make homemade pizza, but we're going to make it out of cauliflower. You're not going to know it. I
Mm,
may even make some
yummy.
cauliflower wings, but it's going to taste like chicken wings. You ain't even going to know it ain't chicken. Um, I'm going to do some real healthy stuff. We're going to do everything peppers, hummus. We are definitely going to have wine. We're gonna have fish. We're gonna have homemade cut French fries, but it's not just any French fries. Sweet potatoes are healthier than white, so it's gonna be sweet potato French fries. It may be curly rings. We're gonna have some jalapeno cookies that are made that are safe for a diabetic to eat, and or somebody
Okay.
that has the worst sweet tooth ever in the world. They're not gonna realize that it's organically healthy and it's made with
Okay.
peppers and we're going to use raw sugar instead of anything bleached. No bread. We're going to use wraps. We're
Uh,
not going to eat with utensils either. We're going to use our fingers and connect to the connection that came from the earth as it
mm,
replenishes. Absolutely.
huh.
And red solo
So you're
cups.
uh, so you're gonna make pizza, but people are not gonna know it's made from cauliflower. You're gonna make jalapeno pepper, you said, and diabetics are not gonna know is
Chicken.
so. In essence, what you're
Oh,
saying is that you're
jalapeno
also
cookies.
Hershey the shadow cook because you're gonna make things that we don't know
No,
what they
no. My
are.
aunt just has a great recipe book, and I'm just gonna have TT make everything, or just send me her recipe book, and I'm just literally gonna just follow the recipe. But other than that, no, I'm just talking shit. I'm a kitchen kid. I love to cook. I just don't like to bake. I don't like
You
to bake. I
don't
cannot bake. I
really.
cannot bake. I cannot bake. I can't even make brownies, y'all. Laugh all you want right now. There is your blackmailing thing on me. I cannot bake. I cannot even cook, cut, and bake cookies. I cannot. But I can tell you what, I can cook a 7 course meal like it literally just came right from the soul kitchen of your dream desire place. I love to cook. I just can't bake.
Did you have a bad experience with baking, or is it that you find it
No, I
challenging?
just don't know. I never. Nobody ever took time. We always cooked and we canned and we had gardening and we I was always in the kitchen learning how to can food for the next thing, work in a garden, prep a garden, grow a garden, uh, can a garden, slaughter a cow, go from pasture to plate. That I never really had time for the baking aspect. My mom couldn't cook, but my mom could bake, and I'm the exact opposite. I can't bake, but I can cook my ass off. So I don't know.
Okay. So I'm gonna do some shadow work on you. Confront your fears with baking. You have to overcome your fears and
I'm
insecurities.
scared of the
No,
Duncan
actually,
boxes.
I love to cook but I had the same thing with baking until I started doing it, and now my specialty is red velvet cake. I love, and it's not because I do it. I have my own personal recipe of red velvet, and I do a killer red velvet, and everybody likes it. Red velvet and carrot cake.
Oh, oh,
You like red
my
velvet?
heart. Oh God.
You like
Oh,
red
that
velvet?
and chocolate have. Oh God, yes. Oh yes. Oh
There you
yes.
go. This was
Yes.
meant to be. I'm going to send you my red velvet recipe so you can try it and overcome that fear. You see how the universe works in mysterious
Oh,
ways?
I'm
That will be the
intimidated, but I'm
door
definitely
that's
gonna
going
try
to
it.
that's the door that's going to open to all the possibilities of you baking.
Okay.
How do you like that? I'll send you
Absolutely.
my
I'm
recipe.
definitely down for it. I'm down for it.
All right. Super. All right. Let's go to next question. Question number 8. Uh your sweetie, let's say Thomas. Let's say Thomas just to put someone. Thomas spills coffee on a favorite shirt before going on a big date, even though you warned him many times to be careful. Would you rather draw the Emperor to command the stain out or the Hierophant to teach a valuable lesson about being more careful? Uh oh, I think I know which one you're going for.
Bro,
Let's
I'm
skip the
sorry, but
question.
Hierophant it is.
Hierophant?
Hierophant it is.
You're going
Yep,
for the Hierophant
absolutely.
to teach a lesson, even though
Yeah,
you
buddy.
don't like the
Yeah,
Hierophant.
buddy. Consequences. Consequences. Consequences.
Oh my God.
I'd have told you.
That's
I'd have told you. I'd have
that's
told you.
big.
I'd have told you. I ain't gonna.
You see? We're overcoming a lot of fears here. Baking, the Hierophant. You see?
I'm only looking at it with one eye open and not really trying to peek real hard, but definitely gonna take the
Ah,
lesson. Yep,
I
there's a
love it.
blessing
We're
on the other
working
side of that lesson. I promise.
we're working miracles here. I love it. Question number 9. You walk into a glass door in front of a crowd. Would you rather draw the justice card to sue the door or the world to make it a global meme?
I think I'm gonna have to make it a meme. I mean, I don't know. I laugh at my own trash, so I'm gonna have to find a way to pay attention. I clearly, or they, I need a Windex, or they, whatever they're cleaning with. I gotta go with the meme.
Have you ever walked into a glass door? I think we all have. And it's so
Yeah,
embarrassing.
yeah.
And
I've
it
been
hurts so
thrown
much
through
because
one.
you what?
I've been
You
thrown through
what?
one.
What?
You heard me. I've been thrown through one.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
yes, yep,
It's horrible.
yep.
I mean, that
I
sounds
definitely am
horrible.
gonna take. It was a
But I
lesson
I
well learned.
mm, I think we've all been through that experience of walking into a glass door. You feel so stupid and it
Oh,
hurts. And
yes.
I think it
Yeah, or
the
you put a
embarrassment
stiff
hurts
bull
more
in one
than
bull when it's pushed, and you bam, you smack
uh
yourself. Yeah.
all right, last question. Who really missed the mark? Uh Fashion advice by the lovers or survival skills by the Ten of Swords?
Survival by the Ten of Swords. I mean, clearly you were made to be in somebody's five-star hotel. What are you out here trying to teach people how to create fire and you don't know what you're doing? So I would say Ten of Swords, drop the ball.
All right, that's quite an answer, and I'm gonna add that to the short story as well. It's gonna be a masterpiece, I'm telling you. All those twists and turns of that you just gave me is gonna be awesome.
Welcome to
It's
my
gonna be
life. That's
like
literally the story of my life.
it's
I'm just,
it's gonna be like like when you watch anime, those stories that you're watching and you don't know what the hell's going on. It's like the story it goes
yep,
on, but you don't know what like what's the plot. Like you never get to understand. It's gonna be something like
yep,
that.
100%.
Oh, Miss Hershey, it was so awesome to talk to you today. You're such a beautiful
Absolutely,
person.
absolutely.
I love your energy. I love your wisdom, and you have so much that you always share and more that you will share with the community. You know, everything that you do is
Absolutely.
amazing. You know, and publicly, I want to say thanks for all the beautiful work you do, for all the healing that you bring to people, all the wisdom that you share, and the knowledge that you help us grow with. So
Thank you.
thank you
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
you being you. Thank you for sharing, you know, your stories, your happy stories, the sad ones, because behind all of them there is a beautiful lesson to learn and to share.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The
All
thing I
right,
think I learned the hardest is keep going. Just keep going.
keep going. And that is so powerful. So again, thank you very much, Miss Hershey, and thank you everybody for sharing your time with us to learn more about the beautiful Miss Hershey. And again, if you're not subscribed to her channel, on the description below, you'll find the link so you can follow her channel and see all her amazing shows, especially Meta Messages. I love that show. Sometimes I'm at work watching
Thank you.
it,
Thank
even though I don't make a comment, but I'm always watching it, and I get so much from it. So thank you. So everybody, again, thank
thank
you
you.
very
Thank you.
much for watching, and blessings to all. Bye.
Oh, he just leaves you hanging. Huh?